A U.S. Navy Blue Angels jet crashes midair. Then, this happened. A shock in the skies. Air shows are supposed to inspire awe. The thunder of engines, the split-second precision, and the breathtaking stunts that make you wonder if gravity itself has taken the day off. But sometimes that spectacle turns into tragedy. On April 21, 2007, a routine Blue Angels performance in Beaufort, South Carolina, ended in disaster. Captain Kevin Davis, flying Blue Angel No. 6, lost his life in a devastating crash that shocked not just the crowd below, but the entire aviation world. What happened that day? How could a team built on perfection face such tragedy? And what does it reveal about the razor-thin line between awe and catastrophe in the skies? Let's dive deep into the crash, the history of accidents that shaped the Blue Angels, and the hidden dangers of flying at the edge of possibility. The fatal flight of Captain Kevin Davis. The day started like any other Blue Angels show. Clear skies, a packed audience, and a carefully choreographed routine. Captain Kevin Davis, a skilled aviator with years of training, took to the skies in his FA-18 Hornet. For nearly an hour, the team dazzled the crowd with synchronized rolls, knife-edge passes, and formations so tight that wingtips seemed almost to touch. Every maneuver was timed to perfection, every move practiced hundreds of times. But then, during the final minutes of the routine, something went wrong. As the team broke formation for the Delta roll maneuver, Davis's jet failed to rejoin the others. Instead, it veered away, descended rapidly, and in a matter of seconds, smashed into a wooded area just outside the base perimeter. The impact was catastrophic. Shrapnel and debris tore through homes, injuring several on the ground. Davis was killed instantly. For the Blue Angel, a team whose reputation is built on trust, discipline, and perfect execution, it was a devastating blow. The investigation later revealed that Davis may have been disoriented by G-forces during the maneuver, possibly experiencing G-LOC, G-force-induced loss of consciousness. At 400 knots, with the body under 9 times its normal weight, even the most conditioned pilots can black out. In an instant, control is lost. The tragedy underscored an undeniable truth. Even the best pilots in the world are human, and human limits can be pushed only so far. The Blue Angels, more than a show. To understand the weight of that loss, you have to understand who the Blue Angels are. Formed in 1946, just months after the end of World War II, the Blue Angels were created to showcase naval aviation and boost public confidence in the Navy during peacetime. What began as a small demonstration team flying propeller-driven planes evolved into one of the world's premier aerobatic teams, flying advanced jets like the FA-18 Hornet and now the FA-18 Super Hornet. Their mission goes beyond entertainment. Every maneuver is designed to highlight precision, teamwork, and trust, the same qualities the Navy relies on in combat. The crowd see loops and rolls, but for the Navy, it's proof that their pilots can operate at the highest levels of discipline and coordination. That's why crashes like the one in 2007 cut so deeply. They don't just claim a life, they rattle the very image of perfection the Blue Angels represent. A history of risk. The 1987 crash. The 2007 tragedy wasn't the first time the Blue Angels faced disaster. On January 14th, 1987, during a practice session in El Centro, California, 2 Blue Angel jets collided midair. One of the pilots, Lieutenant Commander Mike Gershon, was killed instantly. His teammate, Lieutenant Andy Anderson, managed to eject, but only barely. Anderson's seat fired at the last possible second, his parachute snapping open just moments before impact. He survived, but the crash highlighted the razor-thin margin between life and death in high-speed aerobatics. The lesson from that day was clear. No matter how skilled, no matter how rehearsed, aerobatics is unforgiving. A fraction of a second off, a single miscalculation, and disaster follows. The invisible enemy, weather. When you watch the Blue Angels perform, it's easy to forget that the biggest threat often isn't the maneuvers themselves, but the environment they're flying in. Weather is the invisible enemy. Thunderstorms, crosswinds, turbulence, all can wreak havoc on even the most carefully planned performance. A sudden gust of wind can push a jet off course by just a few feet, and when you're flying 3 feet away from another jet at 500 miles per hour, a few feet is all it takes. Fog and low visibility are equally dangerous. These pilots rely not only on instinct, but also on constant visual reference to their teammates. If clouds roll in and obscure the horizon, A maneuver that looks perfect in clear skies becomes a deadly gamble. That's why the Blue Angels cancel or modify shows when weather doesn't cooperate. Precision doesn't mean arrogance. It means respecting forces no pilot can control. Birds in the sky, the unpredictable hazard. Beyond storms and winds, there's another hazard most people don't think about: birds. A single bird strike can shatter a canopy or disable an engine. For a jet moving at hundreds of miles per hour, the impact can feel like a cannon blast. In 1966, a Blue Angels pilot lost his life when a bird strike caused catastrophic engine failure. Today, air shows go to great lengths to minimize this risk, clearing areas of bird activity, using noise deterrents, even deploying trained falcons to chase away flocks. Still, no system is foolproof. The skies are never empty, and the danger remains. Mechanical failures: when machines break. If weather and birds are unpredictable, mechanical failure is inevitable. No machine, no matter how advanced, is flawless. The FA-18 Hornets, the Blue Angels flew for decades, were marvels of engineering. Fast, agile, reliable. But like all aircraft, they age. A worn hydraulic line, a cracked turbine blade, a software glitch, any of these can turn a routine maneuver into a fight for survival. That's why maintenance is relentless. Blue Angels jets are stripped, inspected, and rebuilt constantly. Crews work around the clock, logging thousands of maintenance hours for every hour in the sky. But perfection doesn't exist. Even with the best crews in the world, parts fail, and when they do, the consequences are immediate. The human factor, limits of the body. For all the technology, at the center of every flight is the pilot, and pilots are human. The human body isn't designed to withstand the forces Blue Angel pilots endure. At 9 times the force of gravity, blood drains from the brain, vision narrows, and consciousness slips away. It's called G-LOC, and it's one of the deadliest threats in high-performance flying. Training helps. Pilots condition themselves physically and practice techniques to keep blood flowing to the brain under extreme stress. But even the best can't escape biology. As Captain Kevin Davis's crash tragically reminded us, sometimes the body simply gives out. Safety systems, layers of protection. To counter these risks, the Blue Angels rely on multiple layers of safety. Pre-flight checks are exhaustive. Pilots walk around their jets with crews inspecting every surface, every system. Simulators allow them to rehearse emergency scenarios until responses become instinctive, and redundancy is built into the machines themselves. Backup hydraulics, dual electrical systems, and ejection seats designed to save lives in the final seconds. But safety is never guaranteed. These measures don't eliminate risk, they only reduce it. And when you're flying inches apart at supersonic speeds, reduced risk is still immense risk. Why they fly? The spirit of the Blue Angels. So why do it? Why take these risks for air shows and demonstrations? Because for the Navy, the Blue Angels are more than spectacle. They are ambassadors of aviation, symbols of courage and discipline, proof to the world and to future generations of pilots of what is possible. Every time the Blue Angels take off, they inspire thousands of people watching from below. Young men and women see those blue and gold jets streak across the sky and dream of flying one day. The Blue Angels embody not just skill, but hope. That's why, after every tragedy, the team doesn't disband. They grieve, they investigate, they learn, and then they return to the skies. Because the mission is bigger than one individual. It's about showing what discipline, teamwork, and trust can achieve. The thin line between awe and tragedy. The Blue Angels' history shows how thin the line is between spectacle and disaster. From past crashes to the loss of Captain Kevin Davis, each flight proves that perfection comes with risk. Yet they keep flying, not recklessly, but with discipline and the knowledge that danger is part of greatness. So what do you think? Is the risk worth the reward? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if this story gave you a new perspective, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Until next time, stay sharp, stay safe, and remember, awe and tragedy can be only seconds apart.